Buongiorno a tutti, buenos días, good morning. So my name is Pablo Paños. I am the country leader of Sony in Spain, Sony Lab Spain, and I'm also a backup consultant. So I'm doing the two things at the same time. Today we are gonna talk about backup cool. So this is the agenda. What is backup cool? Why? And how to do it? Okay. So how many of you think that the backup is cool?
Yes.
One. Good. Okay. Yeah. This is what I used to thought 2 years ago or something like that. Okay. Okay. Let's move. This is a 5-slide presentation, so it's quite short, and we will try to see a small demo, okay, to show you what we are talking about. Backup cool is our vision. It's an abstraction layer to make a data protection system easy to consume, simple, reliable, and transparent. I'm going to explain what this means. Okay, all those things mean. Okay, simple. So simple is because a backup system must have to be easy to consume. Okay, nobody should have a strong knowledge on the backup product in order to consume the backup. Okay, simple also because other tools should be able to integrate with the backup system or vice versa. For example, ServiceNow, or integrate the backup product with CI and CD pipelines, continuous integration and continuous delivery, for example, okay, to make the test of a new application and test also the backup process, okay, and restore process. So the main functions of a backup system, okay. The reliability. The backup system have to provide a consistent performance, increase the availability, and reduce the latency. The latency in backup is a strange term, I think, but it's simple. So we have to reduce the time of backups and restores as much as possible. Okay. The availability is we want to try to achieve almost 100% of backup success. Okay. And transparent, so the backup system must allow or have to allow other tools or to infer the performance of the backup in the backup system as a whole thing. Okay. Next one. So we are trying to do the same things it is a new way to do the same things, because backup is backup. We have to configure the backup policy, run the backups, run the restore. So it's almost the same, nothing changed, but this is a new way, or our proposal is to do the same things in a new way. Okay. So, why we have to, or we want to do the same things in a different way? Okay. So, the backup is one of the pillars of a company. So it's the last defense. Okay, is to keep the business running. Okay, after a disaster or after a ransomware attack. We have, as a team, been involved in in a disaster recovery procedure of a big enterprise, global enterprise, after a NotPetya attack. Okay, so it's, the company is Saint-Gobain, which is the attack is public. Okay, we as a team have been involved in to recover the backup system, not the data, just the backup system. Okay, so this is the last. The backup system is the last defense, and it's critical to keep the business running. So it's very, very important. Okay. There are old apps or old data like Oracle, DB2, file shares, and so on. The old way, the old data, the legacy ones. Okay. But those have to be protected because they are not going to disappear tomorrow, even in 5 years. Okay, so we have to take care of them. Okay, and but new apps, new apps are coming up, like all the apps running on Kubernetes cluster, for example. This kind of application, or Hadoop, or MongoDB, NoSQL databases, and so on. Okay, so those workloads have to be also protected by a backup system. But there are new challenges on this kind of workloads, because, for example, containers can disappear after 3 minutes. But maybe you have to protect the data of those containers. Okay, so it's difficult to track which data belongs to which container and so on. Okay, so those are new challenges that have to be into account when protect those workloads. Okay, any question so far? Feel free to interrupt me if anything is not clear. Please stop me and ask. So, how? Our vision is our vision is that we have to build a system in a secure way. So, security from the beginning, in order to deploy, to maintain, to configure the backup system. Automation is key in our, not only in our proposal, but in our proposal, automation is key. We try to follow infrastructure as a code practices to deploy the infrastructure, and we are trying to be as much immutable as possible within a backup infrastructure, which is not easy so far with the current backup product, but we are trying to achieve that. Observability. How many of you hear that term before? No? Okay, so observability is like monitoring, reporting, and alerting. Could be a definition. Okay, it's a merge of all those three components. Okay, it's not. I've heard a definition. It's not a verb. It's something that you get after monitoring, reporting, and alerting. Okay. The idea is to infer the behavior of a system. Any system, any kind of system. In our case, the backup system. Okay. For example, you cannot. There is another phrase that you cannot fix what you don't know. If you don't know what is happening or what's going on in your system, you are not going to be able to fix anything. Okay. Because of that, our observability is so important. Okay, and now the slides are finished. Okay, now, sorry. Now, let me back. Oh. Oh. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, it's possible to grow the size of the font.
Yeah, I have to know how to do it. Because
Okay.
no, okay, yeah. So this is this is an Ansible playbook, okay, and I ran this playbook 20 minutes ago, okay, and the result, even if you are seeing some red lines here, is okay, because here file it equals 0, okay, and this this is the Ansible playbook, but I have deployed an Ansible virtual machine running on my laptop using VirtualBox and with a background command. Okay, so do you know what background is? Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. I'm going to explain the lab I set up in my laptop. Okay, let me change. Lema. Espera, No. Sorry. No.
If you want, we can try to remove the window. I can?
Yes, please.
Just a second.
No, eso es la batería.
Ah, ahora se ve.
Ahora sí.
No sé si va a ser. Esto lo puede dejar despinchado.
Sí. No, no funciona. Okay, well, in any case. So my lab is running on my laptop. So there are four phases. So the first one is creating the golden image. So golden image is a virtual machine running the CentOS OS, and I'm using Packer in order to build the golden image. Okay, so the Packer software is an open source software from HashiCorp, and it helps you to build to automate the installation of operating system into a virtual machine or bare metal machine or whatever. And this phase I can in my lab I am able to deploy a virtual machine to be used with Vagrant and VirtualBox, this is the case, or creating an AWS image. Okay, so I can create the image, export that image to the AWS bucket, and then use those AMI image in cloud, in AWS cloud. Okay, so and the only thing I have to do is background up, so Packer build, and that's all. So I have created this is when I run the Packer. The Packer phase, or the golden image phase, is creating two artifacts. The one is the box, the backend box, the virtual machine, and the other one is the background file. So the background file is the file you need to get up or set up or spin up the virtual machine in your laptop using background. Okay. This is the output of the background command. Okay, the background command is spin up the virtual machine, setting up the network, and also is, in this case, when the virtual machine is spinning up, run a script that installs Ansible Tower and connect to GitLab, download a repo with the Ansible playbook, the one you are seeing here, okay? And this repo, this code is setting up the Ansible Tower with templates, projects, and some other stuff, okay? I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to connect to this virtual machine. If I am able to show you the screen. Let me. This is the Ansible Tower login, okay? Okay, so the Ansible Tower is up and running, okay? And we have some templates. Templates are, let me explain, because I think with the name is easy to understand. So the idea in this lab is to be able to deploy the whole lab environment in an automated way. Okay, so we have created the virtual machine, installed the Ansible Tower, and configuring the Ansible Tower to be able to deploy the backup system, okay, from the Ansible Tower. Okay. So there are several templates: instant master, instant client, configure policy, creating, configure media. Of course, the backup product we are using in this lab is NetBackup, okay, but this is something we can use another Commvault or whatever. Okay. In our case, it's NetBackup, so instant master deploys the master server of NetBackup. Instant client, a client, just a client, but you can use this to install one client or 1,000 clients. It's the same. Configure a policy is to configure policy. The idea here, there are some use cases. For example, you can consume the configure policy template. Think about an operator, a backup operator, just creating the policy. Okay, the operator can log into to this portal, run the template just to configure one policy. Or, for example, you can easily integrate with ServiceNow in a provisioning workflow. The ServiceNow can call the Ansible Tower REST API, launch this template, and the policy will be configured in automated way. Okay? So the idea is to be able to deploy all the lab and all the infrastructure from here with no human intervention or almost no human intervention, okay, at all. And you can, in Tower, you can configure some users with different permissions within Tower. Different permission that allows or not allow to run the different templates. Okay. So this is how to provision the infrastructure. We have configured the Ansible Tower in order to deploy the rest of the infrastructure. I'm going to try to show you the master server, okay? Because it's up and running. But I have to start up. Okay, so. So this is the command to spin up the master server. The master server is already created, okay? Because we don't have time to install the master server, Ansible Tower, and so on, okay? In this presentation. So the master server virtual machine is booting up in my laptop. 1 minute, okay? And there is another virtual machine that I would like you to show. So I'm stopping the tower because I cannot get all the 3 machines plus the rest of the application running on my laptop at the same time. Okay, but in any case. This is the third virtual machine of the lab, which is it's called Monitor, but I've installed Elasticsearch stack in that virtual machine. Elasticsearch itself and Kibana also, okay, to visualize the data coming from the master server. Okay, so let's see if the master server is started. Okay, so. Or no? Yes. Okay, so this is the no. Now I have to be able to come back to So the administration console is here. I don't know why. I can show you. I've lost my. Sorry. So this is this is the no, not. This is the demo effect. So the virtual machine is broken now. Oh, but it is starting again. So, what we have configured in the lab is that the master server is running some backups every 5 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that. And we have configured the Elasticsearch virtual machine in order to we have configured Elasticsearch, and on the master server we have installed two components, the file bit and metric bit. So the file bit is responsible to look through the logs of the net backup, and the metric bit is the component in charge of getting the CPU, memory, and so on metrics. And those two components is sending the data to the Elasticsearch, okay, from the master server to the Elasticsearch. So I have configured the Elasticsearch to look through some of the logs of the net backup logs, and to look for specific entries within those logs. Okay. What we are looking for is the duplication ratio, the kilobyte sense, the kilobytes, the throughput, and these kind of things. Okay, in order to show this information in Elasticsearch. Okay. Okay. It's loading right now. Let's see if we can show this. So this is the elastic. Okay, those are the entries. Yeah, almost right now. Okay. Today. So this is one line. This information is coming from one line, two lines. Sorry, on the specific net backup logs. Okay, and I mean this information is not very useful at this stage, but we can run some visualizations using this information. Okay, so let me find the solution. Okay. Visualize. Let's create a new one. This is very simple. Okay. I think that one. This is my. Okay. Let's add the average of the dedupe ratio. I think it's this one or this. Okay. Let me change this. Okay, so this is the average of the duplication, the backup, the duplication jobs. I mean, you can get this information more or less from other net backup tools, even if you export the backup status entries to an Excel file, and you can do the maths, okay? But you can think, we can use this Elasticsearch or whatever other product in order to answer some questions. For example, so the amount of storage I would need if I increase the 1 terabyte my front end, for example. So if I would have 1 more terabyte in my infrastructure of Oracle or whatever, the amount of backend storage I would need to keep this terabyte for 5 years, for example. So this is the kind of question you could answer using this idea. Okay, this is a very silly graph. Okay, but you can get a lot of information from the logs, from the machines. Even you can install the file bit component in the client in order to check the status of backup, for example, and getting information from the clients, not from the infrastructure of backup, for example. More or less, for example, another use case we are thinking about is to self-healing. For example, if you have a large net backup installation or large backup infrastructure, you probably get a lot of clients, okay, thousands of clients. Okay, so you can use this kind of approach to resolve or to try to fix the backup errors. For example, let's suppose that you have down the Oracle database, and so you are going to get an error in the backup system, but you could try to connect to the client, check if the database is up and running. If not, send a notification to the ServiceNow to open the ticket to the DB admins. These kind of things can be done in automation way, and the goal is to reduce the cost. For example, in this case, reduce the cost of operating a backup system. For example, in this use case, you can think if we are deploying the infrastructure, you can build a let's say pre-production backup infrastructure just to run the test. Previous, upgrade the platform to a new version. Let's suppose that you are using the net backup version 7.7.3 and you want to upgrade the net backup to 8.2, for example. You can set up a quick pre-production, run the test, and everything automated. Get the results, check the impact of the upgrade, if the master server is going to consume more CPU, more RAM, whatever. So this would need this approach will reduce the errors, and for example the rollback axiom, because you realize that the upgrade is consuming more CPU that you have available on the current backup servers. Okay, so that is the idea. There are, just to recap, the idea is to use automation in every part of the process. Okay, use in our case we have used open source tools like Vagrant, Ansible, Terraform. Okay, we are working on to do the same in Amazon using Terraform to deploy the infrastructure there, but you can use Terraform to deploy the infrastructure in VMware or another cloud provider. Okay, so And yes, I think I'm done. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. And we are looking also for use cases, because we are backup. We are not backup admin. We are a consultant. So we used to install, deploy, and then go out for the customer. So we do not tend to admin the backup infrastructure we install. So if you think that you can propose me, if you want, some use cases that maybe could be useful for you in your daily basis. Any doubt? Any question? Do you want to see anything else more deeply? How to we want to share the code in GitLab or GitHub or whatever, okay? Because we love the open source approach. Is it not ready? Because I'm not a developer, so we have to make everything more clear and try to follow the best practices. But the idea is that anyone can use this, okay, in their work and improve it if they want.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening.